Ever feel like life's just throwing the same shit at you on repeat? Like you're stuck in this loop where nothing ever changes? Trust, you're not alone. Turns out, there's this legendary dude Carl Jung who's got some seriously deep insights on why life keeps hitting you with the same mess again and again. And spoiler, it's not just bad luck. Alright, so here's the scene. Imagine you've just wrapped up what feels like a whole season of personal growth. You walked away from a toxic situationship, set up boundaries like a pro, and maybe even scored that dream job. You're thinking, finally, I'm healed, I'm thriving, ultimate main character energy, right? You're walking around, convinced that life's finally recognizing your glow-up. But just when you think you've graduated from life's tough lessons, bam! A few weeks go by, and it's like, wait, are we really doing this again? Same plot twist, but with a new cast of characters. Suddenly, it's not your ex, but a new friend testing your patience. Or that job you thought would solve everything starts triggering the same insecurities. And you're left staring at the universe like, hello? Didn't we already go over this? And that's when Carl Jung enters the chat. Like, hold up, this isn't a mistake. He'd say, these reruns? Totally intentional. Life doesn't throw the same scenario at you just to mess with you. It's like life saying, no worries, you've got this, just take another lap, but pay attention this time. Every round is a remix, a fresh chance to catch what you missed the first or second time. Now, here's where Jung would bring in his concept of the shadow. We talked about the shadow in a previous video, but for those who missed it. The shadow isn't a spooky horror movie vibe, it's not even that cool, edgy side of you that comes out at 2 a.m. Nope, the shadow is like that closet where you shove all the stuff you don't want to deal with. Think fears, insecurities, traits you don't really vibe with, all that emotional baggage. And here's the kicker, according to Jung, that shadow doesn't just vanish because you ignore it. You might be ready to move on, but the shadow? It's not done with you. We can imagine Jung in the serene embrace of nature, walking through the Swiss mountains. He found inspiration and answers in the quiet of the natural world, where he could delve into the depths of his own psyche and that of others. These moments provided him with insights that shaped his life's work. It's a funny way of slapping it right back in your face when you least expect it. Picture life as an algorithm, every time you swipe past your shadow. Life just codes it into the next scenario, like an unskippable ad that pops up in a new disguise. Oh, you thought you could dodge this one? Life smirks, that's cute. And every time you ignore the lesson, it just gains momentum, growing louder, more obvious. Why? Because, according to Jung, these repeated situations aren't here to haunt you. They're your hidden qualities, your unacknowledged insecurities, coming back as cosmic reminders. Until you face them, they're not going anywhere. So the next time that shadowy scenario shows up again, try this. Ask yourself if maybe it's life giving you another shot at understanding a deeper part of who you are. So, why does life hit us with these sequels, really? Jung would argue it's not out to annoy us, even though, yeah, it totally feels that way. Each repeat challenge is like life's extra tutorial level, a little nudge to help you figure out what you missed. Think of it like this. Each time they roll around, they're giving you a new chance to understand yourself a little better. The universe isn't trolling, it's pointing out the parts of you that need some love and attention. And the interesting thing is, once you get the lesson, the pattern stops repeating. Imagine this, your toxic ex keeps showing up, just with a different face. It's a new person, but somehow they bring up the same issues. And you're left wondering, why do I keep ending up in the same kind of mess? Jung would say this is your shadow, the qualities and wounds you haven't faced, asking for attention. Until you confront these traits, you'll keep encountering them. So, what happens when you finally embrace that lesson? Jung called this process individuation, or as we might say, your ultimate inner glow-up. But unlike a quick fix, individuation is about accepting those shadow parts as integral to who you are. You're no longer just the perfect version of yourself but the whole version, shadow and all. Individuation is like leveling up from fragmented pieces to a complete, unified self. Imagine all parts of you, the good, the complicated, the yikes moments, coming together. It's not about erasing the messy parts, it's about integrating them. It's like life handing you a badge saying, "Congrats, you've unlocked full self-awareness." When you finally face these recurring lessons head-on, you start to understand your patterns, and they lose their grip on you. Those toxic relationships, those cycles of self-doubt, they no longer hold power over you, because now you understand why they were there in the first place. It's not that life stops challenging you, but you gain the wisdom to approach it all differently. It's like the same test, but now you've got the cheat codes. So, is life really just messing with us? At this point, it can feel like life's just pulling a prank with these recycled lessons. But in Jung's world, the universe isn't a cosmic troll, it's actually a low-key life coach. These repeated lessons, they're here to help you grow, not just mess with your vibe. And once you start catching on to what they're trying to teach you, they lose their power. It's like life saying, "Alright, you finally get it. You're free to move on." Next time you find yourself asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" try flipping the question. Instead of feeling like life's out to get you, consider that maybe it's actually rooting for you, low-key. Sure, life's a little savage, but it's also wise. It wants you to grow, and sometimes that means going through the same lessons until they finally stick. You know those moments, those little coincidences that seem just a bit too perfect to be random, Carl Jung calls them synchronicities. They're events that don't necessarily tell what we want to hear but rather what we need to hear. Maybe this entire video is one of those signs, a signal that we're vibing exactly where we're meant to be, exploring the right energy together. It's as if life is inviting us to look beyond the surface. We have to not just look, but truly see. If we learn to recognize and understand these signals, we can start to grasp what the universe is trying to tell us. If this shadow and dream stuff got your brain buzzing, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And let's chat in the comments, what shadow did you meet today? Don't want to subscribe? That's no problem, but Jung would probably say you've got some commitment issues. Just saying.